This is probably one of the most common questions I get asked and the most common question I see on social media. What is a calorie deficit? What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be covering what a calorie deficit is. I'm going to be putting it very simply so that way it makes sense. There's a lot of people that try to really overcomplicate it, but it's really a fairly simple thing. So if you're new to my channel and new to my videos as well, I put out about one video per week. So if you want to keep getting fitness updates like this, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. And if you happen to have any questions when you're going through this video, feel free to leave a comment and I'll get back to you. So I've done videos explaining what TDEE is, or total daily energy expenditure. And I've also done a few videos on how to actually calculate your weight loss calories. But I haven't really talked about what a calorie deficit actually is. And before I get into explaining this concept, if you haven't seen my TDEE video, I'll link it up here. I would highly recommend giving it a watch. It'll make everything I cover in this video a lot easier to understand. So what is a calorie deficit? Let's get into it. When it comes to deciding if you're going to gain weight, stay the same weight, or lose weight, it really comes down to two different things. The first one is the total amount of energy you are expending on a daily basis. This includes things like sleep, metabolizing the food that you're eating, exercise, random movement throughout the day, just energy required to keep you alive, all that kind of stuff. And the second one is the food you are consuming. How much energy are you taking in? So before we get into a calorie deficit, what does it look like if you're maintaining body weight or even going up in body weight? So we're going to be using this guy as an example up here, and his total daily energy expenditure, we're just going to call that a number 10. The total energy he is outputting for the entire day, given everything that he's doing to keep him alive, is going to be 10. And then let's say throughout the day, the amount of food he eats, the amount of energy he is taking in, is equal to all of the energy he is expending. So let's say he's expending 10 units of energy and he is also consuming 10 units of energy. This means at the end, his body weight's going to stay the same. He is at maintenance. He is maintaining his body weight because the energy required, the energy that is being expended on a daily basis, is equally being consumed back. So that way, at the end of the day, there is no net change. There is no surplus of energy and there is no deficit of energy. So that is maintenance. That's what it looks like when you're staying the same body weight and in a maintenance period. You're consuming what your body needs to maintain its current shape. Now let's flip things around a little bit. What happens if you are gaining weight? So let's take this guy again, and let's say his total energy output again is 10, and let's say the food he's consuming is 15. So now we're not at maintenance anymore. His food consumption, the energy he is intaking, is exceeding all of the energy he is outputting during the day, which means at the end of the day, we have a surplus of energy. There's 5 units extra of energy at the end of the day. And then what happens when we are consuming too much energy? We have to store that somewhere because we're not expending more energy. We need to store that. It has to be stored somewhere. And what we do as humans, we store it as fat tissue. When you're eating more calories than the total amount of energy you are expending in a day, that's when you're going to start accumulating more fat tissue. This is also called eating in a surplus because you are in a surplus of calories. So now let's look at calorie deficit. What does that look like compared to the other two that we covered? So we have our guy again up here. Now, in this case, in the calorie deficit case, his energy expended on a daily basis is exactly the same as the other two. 10 units of energy he is expending on a daily basis. Now, in this calorie deficit, let's say the amount of energy he is consuming, the amount of food he is consuming, is only, let's say, 8 units of energy. That means he's consuming less energy than his body actually requires. He's consuming less than the output. So that means at the end of the day, we have a deficit of energy. We're not consuming enough energy to keep up with the demands. So in that case, we are in a deficit, a calorie deficit or an energy deficit. And in order to meet those energy demands, we have 2 extra units we need to make up somewhere. And the way we do that is that we pull that energy from other tissues. So it's either breaking down muscle or it's oxidizing fat. And that allows us to kind of bridge that deficit to carry on with our day-to-day activities. And that is what a calorie deficit is. It means you are in a deficit of energy. So that way you have to start using other tissues as an energy source, preferably fat, which means your total fat mass is going to decrease when you are in this energy deficit, also known as a calorie deficit. And yes, it really is that simple. A lot of people really like to overcomplicate it, and the people I see overcomplicating it are typically ones promoting certain diets, or really just looking for some form of monetary gain on the other side. But when it comes down to it, that's what it is at a basic level. If you eat more than your energy demands, you're going to be in a surplus, and you're going to store that energy as fat. If you're eating the exact same as your energy demands, you're going to stay the same weight. Whereas if you're eating less than your energy demands, you need to get energy from somewhere. So that comes from other tissues, which is how you lose weight. So let me know down in the comments if that made it clear and easy to understand. It's a thing that's easily confused at the start and you may not understand it, but now you should have a good grasp of why it's so important to be in a deficit to facilitate your weight loss. So appreciate you for watching. If there's anything that I may not have covered in detail enough for you, let me know in the comments and I can always give you a further explanation. So thanks for watching. Appreciate all you guys, and I'll see you guys next time.